Lew Hollander is a physicist and an elite athlete. But first and foremost, he's a man who from very early in his life realized the importance of taking care of himself in every aspect. We were fortunate to be able to spend some time with Lew Hollander, a man for all time. When did you first take an interest in your health?
When I was little, 10, 11, 12, I took notice of older people and saw that they aged. And I thought, that's not good. And then they died. That's even worse. So I did go to the library and look up actuaries on professions because, of course, I needed to know where I wanted to go and what direction. And I found physicists lived the longest, along with musical conductors and, unfortunately, lawyers. So anyway, but I knew I wanted to be a scientist anyway, so there was never really a doubt. But I was happy to have that confirmation. Yes, I took a real interest in my health and in everything I ate and did from day one. I mean, you have to plan ahead.
Tell us about your proudest athletic moment.
Well, I guess my proudest achievement athletically is running the Western States 100 miles from Squaw Valley to Auburn. So accomplishing that in one day is certainly the most athletic achievement of my life. I have won the World Championship 4 times, the International Triathlon Union World Championship. But yeah, the Western States changed my life. So if I can run 100 miles in one day, I can do anything. And then the next year I signed up for the Ironman, and I got in, because in those days you could, if you did something, you could get in. And so it was now it's very hard to get in. You have to qualify and so forth and so on. But then it was a little, yeah, if you're somebody, and if you ran in Western States, of course you were somebody. So I got in and went there. And it's about half as hard as the Western States, so that was okay. And I finished.
What sort of training schedule do you keep?
I train all year round. I do something every day, I try to. And of course I train for the various races that are coming up. Right now I'm doing the one in Boise, which is a half Ironman, so well, that's not as big a deal as the full Ironman, which takes, then I have to get a lot longer and train runs and bikes. So I have a regular routine. I go down to California for a month in the middle of winter, in January, and I ride with a pretty fast group there, so I get my biking right up to snuff. By the time I get back, then I'm on top of it. And the gang at home, they haven't had that opportunity, so for a little while, I really have an edge. Anyway, that puts me up, and then I swim a couple of days a week at the pool, 3 days. This is all year round. Then if I have a race, then of course I focus on my weakness and what I have to do that race. I'm fortunate to live in a wonderful place by Smith Rocks in Terrebonne, Oregon, so I can run out of my back door and up the mountain all the way to the top, and so I get all I can handle there.
Do you run alone?
I go out, I run with 3 dogs. They always go with me, and they're always jumping and bouncing around and saying, I have one that runs ahead and does like a 360, you know, and says, "What's the matter, old man, you can't keep up?" So one day I took a couple of bottles of water and I thought it was on a long run, and it was a hot day. So we got out about 8 miles, and they were just crawling behind me, you know, and they've been much more respectful ever since. After we got back, we ran all the way to the top of the mountain, about a 7-hour run. And the next day, they didn't move for 3 days. They laid in their beds. Now they're a little more respectful. I wonder how far he's going today.
How often do you compete?
I used to do a race a week, somewhere, somehow. And I do all the local races. You know, we have 5Ks, 10Ks, duathlons, and smaller triathlons. for the last, since 1985 when I did my first Hawaii Ironman, I have pretty well focused on the Ironman, so that sets my year. You know, I'm like, okay, that's October 10th, and now everything backs up from October 10th. And should I have this extra candy bar? Well, I'd probably get away with that, but I better not. You see what I mean? It's always working for that goal. But I do a lot of races. If there's something going on around, locally, I do it. This year I'm going to do the ride and tie with 2 runners and 1 horse. And it's a very exciting sport. It's some really good runners, and you run a little ways and you jump on your horse, and then the real estate really goes by in a hurry now, because if you have a good horse, which I do, and I have a cute little girl training it, so everything's working out just right. But and then you reach the part to switch, and you keep switching back and forth between the 2 runners. So it's pretty exciting, and it's maybe 30, 40, 50 miles somewhere, probably about 40 miles.
What do you think about during an Ironman competition?
Well, every race is different. Everyone has its own character, its own challenges. The Hawaii Ironman, of course, is the big kahuna. I mean, the great of the greats are all there. Everybody's there as somebody special. So you're standing among, wow, I mean, these are really super athletes, you know, and I don't know, it's just little me. I shouldn't really be here, you know, I don't belong here. And the only way I really got there, because everybody could run faster and swim faster and bike faster than me. Because I'm still doing it though. So now I have to sort of give a little thought to who's the real winner here. And that's a thought that I had, you know, okay, I'm still going. Most of my contemporaries, there are a few left, but I'm the oldest of the group. So, what goes through my mind in a race is finish the race. Finish the race. So what do I have to do to accomplish that? That's what's in my mind for 24 hours, like the Western States. You know, I ran 28 hours, steady, no stop. And so what's in your mind is you got to stay alive to get to the finish line. You need to go as hard as you can, but you can't overdo. So where's the red line? And that's most athletes think about that. And that's where this red rush and nitric oxide comes in. It extends that red line a little bit for you. Gives you a little room to move. So that's what and of course you know the course, so you know the obstacles, so you have to sort of plan ahead. I got a big hill coming up, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and I've got to eat, I better not eat, or I better do these things.
What's the worst thing that has happened to you during a race?
The worst I think that's happened to me was in New Zealand. I did the New Zealand Ironman there, and I was having a great race, a good swim, got out of the water. I was really, had a good race, and I got on the bike, and about 80 miles out on the bike, 112-mile bike, and I reached for a power bar, and I got it, and it sort of flipped up in the air. I didn't quite get it, caught on my jacket, and I saw it in the air. I said, well, I don't need it, because you know, they'll have them at the next aid station. And then the last second I said, no, I want it. And my hand slipped off the handlebar. I went over the top of the handlebar, hit the ground really hard. I broke 2 ribs in my pelvis. I didn't know, I mean, I knew I broke my rib. So anyway, I was there for about 18 minutes or something. Ambulance, they reported, of course, and the ambulance doctor comes, checks me over, says, you haven't punctured your lung. Oh, good, okay. So I got my bike back together by then. The wheel came off and everything. And I started to ride off. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to finish. I came all the way to New Zealand, I'm going to finish this race. He said, you can't, as I rode off. And of course I wouldn't tell the story if I didn't finish. So I came in on the transition to the run. I couldn't stand up. This wasn't a good start for a marathon. So then I got in the tent, got my pants on, and found out I could walk. And I did. I walked the whole marathon. It's a personal record, the longest marathon I've done, 7 hours and 58 minutes. I remember every second of it. Because you have 2 broken ribs, so you can't breathe, and you can't laugh, and you certainly can't cough. And those of you who have broken your ribs know all this. I didn't know I broke my pelvis, so I just thought I pulled a bunch of stuff in there. And I didn't find that out until I got home.
What are your thoughts about Red Rush?
all the athletes know you got to raise your nitric oxide level. I mean, everybody should be doing that all the time. And there's lots of ways of doing that. And so I was always well aware of that. And you always take whatever you can do, training, everything. But nitric oxide is a key molecule. You know, as you know, it was the molecule of the year in '92. I don't know who decides who wins the molecule, whatever, but it was voted that. And it's essential to life. So I did the pole pedal paddle, where you ski, and then you bike, and then you kayak, and then you run, and so forth. And after it, I saw this banner up there, and it said Red Bull. You know, the Red Bull we all take to get the caffeine. And it said, but there was a sign that big below, it said nitric oxide. And I said, that's BS, you know. Red Bull didn't have any nitric oxide. And I came up and ran into Skip and started telling him about nitric oxide. And then he started telling me about nitric oxide. He said, no, this is Red Rush. That's a good idea we have. And that's 5 beats in a bottle. And I said, wow, that sounds like a good way to go, because you know, we're always trying to find some way to raise our nitric oxide level, because that's what facilitates your athletic ability. And you can tell the difference. I test all my friends. I tell them, try this. You know, we have a hill we're right up. In fact, there is a hill that's called Hollander Hill in Minnesota. I believe the guy wrote me and told me that we use your training, and so we run up this hill and we call it Hollander Hill. So anyway, we have everybody has a training, and you know what your performance is. Now try the Red Rush, and it improves their performance. Everybody agrees, and I hope they order it. I don't know. I give them a couple, and then I try to weed them off of the free ones, but because I don't want to run out myself. And so, but it does help. There's no question that it enhances your athletic performance, and it's But I think one point that I want to make is that it's not just for the athlete. See, athletes are aware of that fact, and they have a gauge, because they know how fast they can go up this hill and how far they can go before they, poop out. So you have a meter, and so now you take that, and now you can go a little further. Well, this is good. The normal person sits around, watches television, or plays golf, or does whatever they do, and they don't have that meter in their life, so they don't really know they're missing it. But they need it just as much as the athlete does, just as much, maybe more. It also penetrates the blood-brain barrier, and so they think it's really good for the prevention of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all the senility. It opens all those doors, and that's really important. I think if it had one key thing, I know it enhances my ability to perform athletically, but as far as I'm concerned, that's minuscule compared to helping my brain work, which I think it does.
So, Red Rush facilitates the production of nitric oxide that everyone needs, right?
Well, the athletes all know that. It's just a source, and your product, Red Rush, is a very nice source. I use 3 of them through the Ironman in Hawaii. I use one every day. I mean, make a mix in the morning. I'll tell you another product that you have that I really like, and that's the Calcium. I like that product a lot. I have struggled through the years to find a product that provided enough calcium and magnesium and in the right ratio, and you got about the right ratio. I don't know who thought of that. And also, people take calcium. They know they need calcium for the bone osteoporosis and all that stuff. And so what do? They go into Costco and Walgreens and buy a calcium. What is it? It's calcium carbonate. What's calcium carbonate? It's limestone ground up, Okay, your stomach doesn't really digest very much calcium out of that. But you guys, whoever designed this product, put in calcium gluconate. That is absorbed much more beneficially than the carbonate. That's a really good move. There are other ways to do it. You can take we guys that are really serious about it. The calcium-magnesium ratio for an athlete is really important. because it takes care of the nerves, and you cramp, and that's the last thing you want to happen. You got to keep that ratio. So you're always taking a supplement and put it in your drink. This product is more absorbable. You could take vinegar, for example, with it, and I do. That's crazy, but that makes it acidic, so your stomach can absorb it. But the gluconate is a good addition. It was a very well thought out product. I like it a lot. I mix it with my sports drink when I do the Ironman. I take it every day, a spoonful in my mix.
What benefits do you realize from Red Rush?
Red Rush enhances, aids, assists, as you all know that, the ATP cycle, which is the energy that goes to the mitochondria that performs all the functions in your body. So from your toes to your nose, it's helping every muscle operate better. It's a little grease on the wheels or whatever. So it helps you think better, helps you run better, whatever. I like it a lot.
How do you introduce Red Rush to others?
Well, I take Red Rush before some athletic event, and I've been giving them out to my other training partners, and I say, here, try this. 20 minutes before the run, just try it and see if you don't do better. Or somebody will say, Lou, you're really doing well. You had a good ride today. I say, yeah, I'm taking this stuff, this Red Rush. It's really neat. And I said, well, what's that? And well, now I got their attention, and so I give them one or two, and then if they're really a pretty girl, I give them a whole box. No, anyway. Yeah, and the results are obvious. So it's not hard to sell.
You mentioned prior to this interview that you use A-Mega every day. Could you explain why?
Well, I take three capsules of A-Mega every morning. They're a little big, so I actually don't swallow them. I just chew them up and then spit out the. If you just put them in a little bottle, it would be better. But anyway, I take 3 a day, and I like them. I think it has a lot of course, essential oils in it that are very good for you. So. And if you take enough, the mix that I make, which is mainly AIM products, you can cover, I think, the whole spectrum of what you need. And the benefit of that is the rest of the day you can eat anything you want, because the secret to longevity is diet and exercise, right? Okay, we all know that. So now you have to watch your diet all day long, but if you take all these supplements, get them all in one place, get it done, now you can go out and eat a little something else, and you won't miss the vital things that you need. Because the reason you need vegetables, is the antioxidants and so forth and so on. So we got all the OH molecules neutralized now, and I take that every morning, and I think that works.
Lew, how do you define success?
I have a mirror that is everything to me. I look in the mirror, and the guy in there, every day, I say, Lew, did you do the best you could today? And I go with the philosophy of Brer Rabbit, if you remember him. He said you had to do with what you got, because that's what pays off in the end, from the Song of the South. And so the simplicity of that is really good. You can only do what you got. You can't do any more, because you can't. Okay, so if you've done what you can do, then that's success. If you can look in the mirror and say, I did the best I could. I screwed up, but I did the best I could. Now, if I didn't put that extra effort in, then shame on you. That's not success. So to me, success is doing all I could, all Lew can do. Now, whatever that is, I may be better than somebody or worse than somebody, I don't care. There are people greater, they'll always be greater and lesser than you. And so all you have to do is be honest with yourself, and the mirror is the one you account to. And if I did the best I can every day, which I try to do, I put the extra effort in, and it's get up and get it done. Now, I'm going to give a talk at AIM, and I'm only going to share this with a few people, but I'm going to start the talk off with everybody stand up. Get up off your seat. I want everybody in the room to stand up. And and why do I want to do that? Because I want to make you do something you don't want to do. And you better get used to it. And I have a chart which shows quality of life and the age. Quality of life versus age, which of course goes down to death, and it terminates. So, where do you want to be on this chart? You got to get up and do something you don't want to do. That's how you get it done, if you want to move up on the chart. And so, again, back to the mirror. If you look in there and you see you did all you could do today, and hopefully tomorrow and the next day, and that's success.